Hey everybody, Bailey here, obviously with Bill again. And the focus today is going to be some of the reactions that somebody might give you when you get them to the ground. In one of our other videos, we taught a couple takedowns. So here we're going to go once they are on the ground. So if Bill's my suspect here, let's say I get him on the ground, but he's not on his belly yet. Obviously, that's where people end up a lot, and then they tense up. But we'll go over that in a little bit. If I get Bill on the ground here, a lot of people, they want to stand back up. So the one thing I like about having knee on belly or across the waistline is that it can control him. So there's different ways to do this. If I have my knee along his waistline, it's not really putting all that much pressure on him. If I need to get a reaction though, and Michaela, if you could just focus on Bill's face here, you'll see the difference. So knee along his waistline, it's not comfortable, but he's okay. If I need to get a reaction because I want him to push my knee away, I put it right there in the sternum. Bill trains jiu-jitsu, and this still doesn't feel good. So what I can do, once I get that reaction, I can pull his arm to my chest with that space there. I like to be able to pinch him here. The nice thing about this position is that I'm still able to assess the environment around me. If I have to disengage because one of Bill's buddies wants to come and fight me, I can disengage. That's always an option. We don't have to stay in the fight if it's not beneficial for us to be there. This isn't jiu-jitsu. Things happen in the real world. So, but if I get Bill here, once I get him into this position, and I can get into this this Kimura right here. And now what I want to do is I'm going to use this to guide him back to his belly. So I'm going to obviously vocalize, gets your belly, gets your belly, gets your belly. And if he doesn't, I just keep moving with it. I still keep control of this wrist here, and I can end up into this rear mount position. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my leg and hips to control this arm, because now I've eaten up this space. It is going to be difficult for him to get his arm out. Some of these super flexible people, when they're struggling, they might try to pull that arm out, but then I just address by using my hands again. So from here, you can either use pain compliance to get them to get that other arm out. Just remember, if you try to do that, you're giving orders. If you're putting your weight on him and he has that weight on that hand, and I tell him, get your arm out, but I'm leaning on him, it might be difficult for him. So if you're going to try to use that pain compliance or even just verbal compliance, you might have to, loosen up a little bit so that he has the ability. Get your hands behind your back to get that there. But let's say I get here and, poor Bill here is still being stubborn. What I can do is, if I'm in a rest by myself, what I'll do is I got to get his head, off the center line. That's how he's going to be weaker. So first, what I want to do is I'm going to use my hands and dig it into this workspace here, right in between his, the side of his body and the inside of his arm. So I get here, and now I can get like a half Nelson for myself. Other techniques that people teach aren't wrong. One of them is using the back of your elbow to push his head off, to flare that arm out. If you can't dig your hand in, that's perfectly fine. And then from there, you can use your wrist along his arm to flare that out and get it here. That's perfectly good. But another option is, once I get to here, I get his hand, I go for this half Nelson like this, and then I can wrench it up from there. And now I can get that wrist control and bring it back into my workspace and cuff. One thing we want to focus on is, don't get your cuffs out until you have control of this person. If you get your cuffs out too early, for one, you don't have control of the person, and two, now you have a hand that's occupied that you can't use in that use of force scenario. That'll be the video for this one. We'll go over some other techniques. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and once again, thank you to my buddy Bill here.